Hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. I'm Julie Davison, and this is my beautiful mother, Susan LaCroix. We are so excited that you are joining us for this week's episode. It is Sunday, August 13th. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's already halfway through August. We've been sharing projects every single Sunday. We haven't missed one for the last 2 years. It's been so much fun. Has it been 2 years? It's been 2 years, yeah, right? Yes,
Is this
21.
okay? This is
It
episode
seems kind of crazy. You were going to say this is episode 115.
115. Yeah.
So, yeah, over 2 years of sharing with you every week using the same Stampin' Up! Products and showcasing different things. So, I'm really excited about this week's product. Dipping into a little Christmas. It seems early, but we've got so many beautiful Christmas things out that it's hard to wait.
Oh, is it ever? My new pre-order came and I was showing Julie earlier. It's spread all over my table. And I have a class here tomorrow, so
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna
it
be
will
fine.
be. I'm all over this. I got this.
They'll be happy to see the sneak peeks.
If I show them.
If it's laying out, you won't have a choice.
Oh, it won't be laying out. It'll be tucked away.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are gonna hold the sneak peeks.
Yes.
I think next week we're gonna start with some sneak peeks. But this week we have something that you can get right now, and so that's why we're super excited to share some project ideas with it. So I'm gonna flip the camera over, Mom, so that you can reveal our featured stamp set today.
Okay. So this is So Very Merry. And this has been far more popular than Stampin' Up! Thought it would be because it flew off the shelves be before I even got it. I mean, it was, I ordered it and before it even could get here, it was gone. But Stampin' Up! And its wisdom did another run. So it is now back in stock and available. It is a photopolymer stamp set. It's got 10 images. Let me see, we got a little gingerbread house. We got a cardinal. I think it's a cardinal. Bells, some holly, an angel, and a Santa. And we have peace and joy, very merry. Oh, what fun. 'Tis the season to be jolly. So lots of greetings to go along with the varied interests. So, or images. So you can got a glue dot here. So you can get a lot of different looks with this stamp set.
This is one of the online exclusives that was released on July 6th. So you're not going to see it pictured in a catalog, but it is one of several Christmas themed products as well that was released on July 6th. So there is still some Christmas to be had even while we're waiting for that mini catalog. And it is back in stock. Like you said, it was kind of sold out right away. A couple days after the release, but they've made some more. I love that our stamps are made right here in the USA. They're made in Utah, down in Kanab. So, so great that they were able to make some more and have it be available again. So,
Oh, absolutely. Ooh, I love.
is there anything else you want to say about the stamp set, or should we get started with our
I think we should
projects?
get started, Julie. Are you ready?
I am. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share a couple projects that I had ahead of time with you. Um, you know how I feel about coloring. I find it a struggle sometimes, and so I was a little intimidated by this stamp set, and I wasn't going to get it. But then there wasn't a lot that was released for the online exclusives, and so that's why I decided to get it. And I think that's maybe why it was so popular because people maybe who wouldn't have bought it ended up buying it. Well, one of the first cards I made was this little tag for my 12 Days of Christmas gift box, and really simple, no coloring. I stamped in real red, and then some shaded spruce with the sentiment "Very Merry." So you don't have to color with this stamp set. I also made this one, which I colored with fresh freesia and balmy blue. I don't know how well it shows up in the camera, but I've got some Wink of Stella on the wings. And then I was playing around making our card for today, and I wanted to use a different image. And so I pulled out the gingerbread, but I just wasn't happy with the way it turned out. I did
Oh,
this one first, and I didn't really like it with the black, so I tried to emboss it with white because I was trying to go for those white sort of icing lines, but I'm not sure how I like that either. So I decided to scrap that and go in a completely different direction and get that bird out. So I wanted to share a little tip with you. I'm not going to color the whole thing. I colored some of it already, and I have one that's pre-done so that you don't have to watch me cut it out. But I'm using real red, so I've got a light and a dark marker. And the one thing I figured out that's really easy with this stained glass set is to do like an every other with the light and the dark and just kind of alternate. So that's what I did when I colored these, and it's the same way I did the angel as well. I just did some light sections first, and then I went back with the dark and I did some dark sections, and I didn't worry about shading the individual sections. So they are just straight light and straight dark. And I think the variation and the alternation just sort of makes it look like that stained glass. So here is all the light, and I'm going to go back and add with the dark. And I looked up cardinals to see about the coloring of the face, and around the face is actually black, but I didn't want to color it black. So this is my creative license.
there you go.
Coloring our cardinal without a black face. Okay, I used pecan pie and mossy meadow on the branch and the leaves, and then I cut it out. So that's what we got here. I just used my scissors and I just fussy cut. I got real close, but left a little white border all the way around. Our card base, this is kind of a simple card this week. I've got mossy meadow for my card base, 5.5 by 8.5. I have a piece for the inside, which I've already stamped. It's just 4 inches by 5.25. I'm gonna glue down as I go today. That's how fast this card is. Um, so I got that right on the inside. And then for the front, I'm using 3 different pieces of that one horse open sleigh designer paper, but I'm using all the back sides with the other patterns. I love that that paper pack has so many different patterns that are really versatile for other things. I love the storybook illustration images, but there's just a lot of really great, like solid, I always call them B patterns on the other side. So I'm going to use those today. I've got 4 inches by 5.25. Again, this is for the designer paper on the front. And then I have a piece that is 1.5 by 4.25. And as always, we'll put the measurements for you in the video description. Now this one I'm going to customize a little bit and I'm going to do some stamping. I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow ink pad and that sort of holly leaf image. And I'm going to stamp, I kind of want my 1 3/4 inch circle with vellum. I'm going to use my bird as a guide. I'm using a regular adhesive to adhere it to the vellum circle, and then I'll end up putting the vellum circle on with Stampin' Dimensionals. But I need to kind of use that as a guide to know where to stamp my images. So I'm going to just kind of line that up and then pull it away and stamp so that the holly images appear on either side. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Make it up closer there. So I've got a little holly on there, and then my red square is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And I am going to just layer this. Well, first let's do this. I'm going to add my circle on with Stampin' Dimensionals. I feel like I'm going really fast, and I'm pretty sure we're going to set a record today for the shortest video ever.
I don't know. I haven't done mine yet.
There you go. I'm making up for yours. Um,
Mine shouldn't be too bad, I hope.
okay, so come back off. I'm trying to just center that. There we go. That's better. Now I want to center this bit on the red square. So depending on where it is, I'll put my red square centered underneath. So it's going to go right about there. The bird is centered over the red square. And then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. And this is going to go in the bottom right corner of the card front. Kind of a simple layout. Originally, I cut this 4 1/4 green piece because I was thinking I would have the card go this way. But then, you know how cards evolve sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So for this sentiment, I have the "'Tis the season to be jolly," but I don't want the whole thing. I just want something skinny. So I'm going to strategically ink the "'Tis the season" so that I'm not inking the "To be jolly." And I've got a little skinny strip here that is probably just like a 1/2 inch maybe, and it fits perfectly on that. So I'm gonna just take my scissors and give this a little trim. And I've got some embellishments. We're going to use a little bit of linen thread and tie a bow. Sometimes when it's really curly like this, I'll just take my fingernail and kind of run it through to straighten out that curl a little bit. And it still has a little wave to it, but it just makes it easier to tie and kind of keep things somewhat straight. So I'm going to tie a large bow.
I remember when somebody showed me that many, many years ago. I was amazed. I thought, what a cool hack. Of course, we weren't calling them hacks back then.
Oh, this is driving me crazy. One side is bigger than the other. That's a little better. And I've got this weird itch in my finger. Sorry. Okay. So I've got my bow and I'm going to do a little bit of adhesive on the back in the center of my sentiment. And I'm going to stick the bow on kind of diagonally behind it. So it's sticking to that little spot. And then I'm going to use those Stampin' Dimensionals.
I really like this layout a lot.
Thank you. I do too. I'm going to have to try it again with some other things.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add this kind of on the side over here. And I think that the linen thread just really helps to kind of fill in that space. So you can trim those down a little bit. And then I got out the festive pearls. I thought that would be a nice little addition, a little bit of bling to dress up our card. And I know you're going to yell at me, but I'm going to stick with 2.
I'm not going to yell.
Well, let me show you. I added a 3rd one when I made my sample, and I just didn't like it. I just felt like it was random down here, and I just think that the 2 in the corner just kind of like corners it off nicely. So I'm leaving it like that. If you make it at home and you want to add 3, then that is your choice. But there's my So Very Merry card.
All
I am
right.
so glad I got this stamp set because, like I said, I have warmed up to it a lot. And I think it's just really beautiful. And I cannot wait to just see what you made. So let me switch the camera over so you can show us.
All right. So this is this is completely different than what I originally was thinking of. So first of all, I'm using sentiments from Brightest Glow because they just kind of seem to fit this card better. So so if you don't see me using the ones from the stamp set, that's why. All right. So very quickly, our card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I went ahead and embossed the greeting in the front. So Merry Christmas in gold. And then I went ahead and die cut with the stitched, whatever that is. Okay.
Stylish shapes.
Thank you. Anyway, so that is our card base. And then I have 2 pieces of 5 1/4 by 4 inches one of which I've stamped the inside greeting. So you'll need 2 pieces of that. You'll need a piece of Balmy Blue to do some
Ooh.
embossing.
Is that vellum?
It's vellum, yes, thank
You
you.
said balmy blue.
Did I really?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's okay.
Then another piece of vellum, which is 4 inches by 3.5. And this is actually, I'm going to use this to form a pocket behind the front of the card. I also did some punching, 2 3/8 inch circles. I did gold, and there's 2 of those. And then one of 2 1/4 inch white circle. Okay. All right. Now I pre-colored it so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about this technique, which I call, and I believe that's what it's been called, the stained glass.
Mm-hmm.
So back in before the pre-blend days, we always said flip it over and you're going to color the back. It hides a lot of sins and you don't have to be too careful. So I actually did that with these 2 pieces, which I was going to make different cards and I just simply ran out of time. So this is the Santa.
Oh, I love the way you colored those.
Thank you. So I used the blends, but on the back side. Same thing with this angel, which is very similar to how I'm going to color the other one. And the reason is I embossed it in black first, and then thought, what would it look like embossed in gold? So that's what I did
Ooh.
with this card. So I will keep these. I will make other cards. And all right, so now we're going to get started. So I embossed it in gold ahead of time. And I'm not going to color the whole thing because you don't need to sit here and watch me color. But I am going to use the front side with this. And you know, you don't have to be too careful because it's raised, so it helps you from going outside of the lines unless you are in a super hurry and you don't want to take too long. All right, so I am using dark bubble bath, and I'm doing something a little bit different with her wings. I'm not filling in all the wings, but I didn't want just white wings. So I took the bullet tip and I'm just kind of filling in some highlights of her wing. So just kind of maybe along the edges. And I know you can't even see what I'm doing. So let's see if this helps. So I don't know if you can see the difference of the white versus the pink. Can you see that, Julie, on camera? Not really.
It's hard to see on camera.
Okay. So I just basically did all that and threw some pink on there. Let me lift it up closer to the camera. Does that help at all?
A
Not
little bit. I can see a little pink.
okay. I
Very
didn't,
subtle.
that's what I was going for. I just wanted a subtle touch of pink in her wings. Okay. Then I went ahead and colored the rest and then punched it out. So you don't have to watch me color. This aside, I'll finish this one later. So this is going to be I'm actually making an ornament is what I'm doing.
Ooh.
So what I'm going to do is grab my glue dots here, and it's very hard to adhere vellum because you can see the adhesive through it. So you have to
Mm.
be strategic about where you place your glue dots or whatever adhesive you're using. So I'm actually pulling it off the roll, and I'm going to like kind of where it's busy, kind of along the edge. And I'm going to do it in 3 spots. And then say a prayer that it stays on. All right, so this is another maybe busy area over in this corner. I'm trying to stay away from the real light areas.
Yeah.
And Let's see, I have one here, one here. I'm going to try to go over here, and I'm really focusing on the edge, which I colored in wild wheat. Then I'm going to, oh, here, it's got to come out a little bit there. All right. So I'm going to stick it on here. And it should stay. If I find I need to add one, I can. But I think it'll be all right. All right. So now I'm going to use my 2 gold pieces. And I could probably get away. Well, no, I'm going to do it this way. I could, yeah, never mind. So I'm going to back them so that the back is also gold. So let me grab my seal. I did a lot of playing with the set. Amy is here this weekend. And so she gave me some good advice too. All right, but I want the substance on this for our ornament. Oh, yeah. So there is the ornament base. And then the other thing that I did, like Julie, whoops, I don't want that to go anywhere, is I took Wing Castella and did her wings.
Oh, nice. I was just thinking about how that the edge with the wild wheat, it looks like gold.
That's why I use that color, yes.
I love that.
Yep, okay. Let's see here. That'll take a minute to dry. I love using Wing Castella. It just adds a little shimmer
Yeah.
to her wings. All right. So while that's drying, and before I punch my little hole, put this back in here, I'm going to take this part now and fold this in half. My bone folder. And I'm going to take this piece of vellum and I'm going to place it here. And I'm going to use tear and tape, and I'm going to put tear and tape on 3 edges.
Ah.
So that the open top then forms the pocket. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to adhere this piece of boho blue over it again, putting tear and tape on 3 sides and leaving the top open. So you have to be careful because you don't want any of this to poke through the hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, I find that some of these rolls I have to cut instead of tearing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to put this right along the edge here. And same thing here. Maybe it's just the strength in my hands are gone. That's always possible.
Hmm.
Okay, that shouldn't show through. And then let me just figure this out here. So I'm gonna have to come down a little bit, but I'll put the boho blue, I'll put more adhesive on that and it'll hold this pocket. All right. I hope this is going to make sense.
So far, so good. I'm loving this idea.
All right, so I want to make sure that my hole is completely covered. And if the tear and tape shows out a little bit, it's okay. All right, I think that's it. Okay. So even that's not going to bother me because now I'm going to do the same thing with this. And I need to trim it a little bit, but I'll see what it looks like when I get done here. All right. So same thing, I'm going to put some tear and tape on 3 sides of this piece. If I can find my little edge here. I'm so glad we have tear and tape. And again, on the bottom. Remove these little edges. And I want to center this since this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's going to be close enough. Now, I have a little bit too much vellum on this side. So I'm going to trim this off. I'm going to have to get out an adhesive remover and get rid of some of the excess tear and tape. I wasn't careful enough. You do have to be a bit careful. This is the trickiest part, I think, of this card. So I hope that I can close it without it sticking together. Well, sure, Susan. Because you're on camera. That's why it happened. It's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. All right. I'm going to fix this later. It's going to drive me nuts, so I have to do it. Oh, all right. Close enough for now. All right. So now we have this spot right here. And what I want to do is I want to emboss another angel that's going to be under this. So I want to kind of figure this piece out. So I'm going to take my pick a tool. And I'm going to, should have something under this, but I don't. And I am going to go right kind of under here and poke a hole, which is through vellum and 2 layers of foil. I hope this works. I used something else that we used to sell, but I've kept it for all these years. Oh, all right. I'm getting it out. Sorry, ladies. It's a clozzle. Do you remember these? Julie, do you remember a clozzle? Did I lose you?
Sorry, I muted. That's a crocodile.
What did I say?
Colozzle.
Oh, it's a crocodile. Thank you. Do you still have yours?
I do still have my crocodile. Maybe I have my colozzle somewhere too. The colozzle was it had like a foamy mat
Yeah.
and this like rotating blade, and so it had different templates and you could use it to cut circles and hearts and all kinds of things.
Yes, yes, yes. You are so right. All right. I probably have that somewhere floating around here as well. All right. So I'm using, I should tell you what I'm using. This is, I think, an online exclusive now as well. It's gold and silver ribbon.
Yes.
So you want to be able to hang it on your tree. And I may not have cut this long enough, but you'll get the general idea. Julie, you'll get the perfect one in the mail.
Oh, thanks. I'm just happy to get one.
That's just too short. Okay, I'm going to cut it longer. It's only ribbon, right?
Yeah.
Well, good Lord. So, you can either, use the ribbon on your tree, or you can put a hook around it and put it on your tree. So it's kind of your choice. So I did this a little long on purpose.
I would definitely use the ribbon.
Okay. So I just simply tied a knot there. Trim off the excess. So this is why I did not emboss the other piece yet, because I want to be able to figure out my placement. Right? Because I want the embossed angel to come right under that.
Mm.
So I'm going to put a little of my embossing buddy on here and find my stamp, which I left over here, because that's the way I'm rolling today. This up. Not the lid, Susan. The ink. All right, where's my angel ornament? So this is here. That almost was a disaster. Okay. What I like, that's not too bad. What I like about using vellum under the boho blue is it softens that blue. So when you open it, you're going to have the darker blues. So I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, she is going to get embossing powder everywhere under there. No problem. I'll clean that up later. And then we're going to grab our embossing tool, our heat tool. I would be if I had it plugged in.
Oh, oh no.
Somebody unplugged it. I debated about coloring in the angel on this piece and then decided just to leave it gold.
I like it just in the embossed gold.
Have you done the stained glass window lately?
With the vellum, no, I've just been coloring on the
The
paper
basic one.
like normal, yeah.
Okay, that looks good. All right.
I love the way that, I mean, just that right there. I think that's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So what we can do now, just to show you, is we're going to slide our ornament in over this one with that kind of a look. So trying to figure out what to do with this because I don't like it hanging. So what I did, and I didn't bring it with me over here, so I will, but I just kind of pulled this down and put a piece of washi tape right there just to hold it.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, so even though we don't sell washi tape right now, I have some still. So that's what I did there. Now, I thought this really needed one more little thing before I put my inside piece on. And that is some of our new sneak peek time.
Yay!
Ribbon.
Oh, I love this ribbon.
It's
It
like a
looks it looks black in the camera, I think, but it's navy. Sorry, I interrupted you.
that's okay. It's Night of Navy. So I did a bow, but it was so bulky.
Mm.
He said, "Oh, just do a knot, Mom." So I doing just a knot. Just to put on a glue dot in front of that or on top of that. Because this is a wider than our other, maybe a little bit tighter.
wider than the other organdy ribbon, yeah.
It is. I'm sorry, I stopped talking. Yes.
That's okay. I get like that sometimes, like my brain can't do two things at once.
Yeah. All right. Oops. Now, that's not a very good one. All right. So I'm just going to set this right on top of this, maybe a wee bit tighter. Grab a glue dot. I need to tear this off so I can see them. But I don't want to put it on the ribbon, so I have to make sure it stays on the card. And then we'll finish it off with putting our inside piece on. And there it is.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You knocked it out of the park with
Oh,
this project.
so here is the one that I did earlier. And this one I did color on the backside versus this one colored on the front.
I don't tell that much of a difference,
You can't
really.
tell a difference, right? And then just that little piece of washi tape just to secure that here. So there is my project.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
Thanks. I hope you guys enjoy it at home, and I hope you'll give it a try.
Oh, you already shared the other little pieces that you colored, right?
Yeah, I'll bring them out again, just so you can see them.
That's right. I love that, Santa. You did such a good job on that one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm on a search for some DSP that I like to go with these, because my thought process was to do the very same layout, just different colors, different focal point. So
Yeah.
that's what's coming next with those two pieces. So
I love it.
yeah.
I can't wait to see.
All
Well,
right.
for now, let's turn the camera around and we'll show off our cards. So very merry. This special stamp set is an online exclusive, so you won't see it in a catalog, but you can you can order it on any kind of order type. You can order it in the online store, or you can order it at an in-person event like Stamp Club or class or over the phone. So,
For my kit class, which is
if you're not seeing if you're not seeing it in the catalog, the kit class is over by now,
it
Mom.
is, I know, I'm sorry.
If you are not seeing it in the catalog, it's because it isn't in the catalog. Online exclusives is something that is still new this year, but we are going to see new releases 3 times a year. So the next time we'll see some online exclusives that are outside of a regular catalog are going to be in November. But before that, we've got the new mini catalog, which starts September 6th. We're so excited. Next week, we'll show you some sneak peeks as we share some project ideas using the new Take Your Pick tool attachments. I'm really excited about that. And then we're going to have a stamp along the week after that using the translucent florals, which is a brand new bundle available in the mini catalog. But you can stamp along using whatever you have at home if you don't have that one yet. Um, do you have anything else to add, Mom? I feel like we should just.
I think we've kind of covered it all. And yes, it might seem that we're hustling this along, but really, half the battle with my project is prepping and just cutting and getting it done. And it comes together really easy. So probably easier when you're not on camera, but here we are. So
Everything's easier when you're not on camera.
this is so true. This is so true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We so greatly appreciate it. And until next Sunday, Stamping with Susan and Julie, have a wonderful week. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye, Mom. Love
Bye,
you.
Julie. Love you.